Hey everyone, welcome to the Curious Girl Diaries podcast. I'm Layla London, aka The Curious Girl. Now just to let you know, this podcast is not suitable for work. It's also not suitable for anybody under 18. But the rest of you consenting adults, let's get ready to talk about my sex life, sex in general, and everything in between in explicit, raunchy, fun detail. All right, here we go. I almost don't believe it. It feels like I'm in a chemically altered state when it happens, and it happens quite a lot. I kind of lose time a little bit, and things are fuzzy.
There's still that kind of pleasure and pain, kind of duality that flows in it.
It's all the way down your throat, and then you are sucking, and just all the way through. All right, guess what, everyone? Back with Sir Inq, and we have a really fun topic tonight. One that I have been dying to talk about. It's kind of my super secret topic. And so you're going to hear it. You're kind of going to hear it first. These are like true confessions of what's been going on with me. And but before we get into that, I want to go over a few things with you, mister.
Okay, let's go.
First thing is this is really funny. So right before we got on this call, I thought I was texting you, but I was not. I was texting somebody else, someone that I don't talk to, and that actually, quite frankly, I've been avoiding. And I sent them, and I said, okay, just give me 10 minutes. That's what I said. And then he said, 10 minutes, huh? And I go, yeah, I'm, I don't even know. I said, yeah, I just need to, get my stuff ready. And he said, send me a selfie. And I did, because I thought it was you.
Oh my God.
So he got a selfie that I thought was for you. And I said, I said, I look a little out of sorts, because I was kind of sweating a little bit. And, because I was running around doing some stuff right before I got, sat down with you. And he's like, oh, you're sweating, huh? You working out? What are you doing? And I was not paying attention, because I'm multitasking, right? Trying to get my Skype open, get everything open for our recording. And I'm thinking it's you. It's not. So then all of a sudden I just ghosted him. I'm like, oh, shit. So that's the first thing. Now, second thing was, what was you? I hope you don't mind me saying, but you kind of sent me a little naughty pic the other day. What was going on there?
Yeah, so I had to.
Someone was feeling a little flirtatious.
So yes, what our audience doesn't know is, when I'm working, and every now and again, you'll like to send, hey, here's the naughty librarian. You'll have a picture with your glasses on, right? And so I'm like, oh, you teasing me. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to get you back one day, right?
You did.
And I was like, I'm going to get you back. Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go. Now I'm being the naughty son, right? And so I like having fun with you. But now I'm feeling a little cheated, though, because this guy done got a sweaty pic, and I didn't get the pic still. I'm like, what is going on?
Trust me, I will send it to you. I can send it to you right now, mister. It is nothing to write home about. I'll tell you that.
Don't cheat me. Well, listen, take your time and send me one to write home about.
Okay. Well, if that's your request, then it won't be that one. But I'll give you that one, just so you know. Like, I'm being legit here. I'm not exaggerating. I just was rushing in, and I'm sure a lot of people are experiencing right now, the weather is changing. It's getting very warm, and I was outside. I've been just getting rid of a bunch of stuff, and I had this huge patio set that I just didn't want anymore, and so part of it was out, part of it was in the garage. Anyway, so I'm digging around. These guys show up, and they're buying it, and I'm outside while they're loading up. I'm trying to help them so I can be on time, right? Not just let them do it, right? So I'm doing manual labor here, and I'm sweating. And so then when I ran in, I'm like, can you give me, I just needed to get some water. I needed to go to the bathroom. I just wanted to collect myself. That's why I sent you the text saying, oh, could you give me, 10 minutes? And then when I thought it was you, that person, said, oh, 10 minutes, huh? Send me a selfie. And I
A
was like,
selfie,
okay,
right?
and I wasn't literally, I'm chatting with the wrong person. So,
and I'm just so jealous. I'm jealous now. Like see, you play a different game with me, and this is what our audience doesn't know how you play with me. Like I'll send you a message on a Monday, and then you'll respond on Thursday morning. Like, what is going on? Like, really? You just now responded to me, and then you gonna tell me some random dude, you've been trying to ghost is going to get a selfie.
I thought it was you.
Look at this! You're horrible. Oh, now I see. Now our relationship has changed tonight.
No, it has not. You know what? It's not changing because we're going to cross some new borders tonight. So this is good stuff. Okay. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. Did you get that?
Okay,
picture?
Let's go. Yes, I did. Okay. I got it.
Do you see what I'm talking
about? Yes.
I have that nice little. I have no makeup on. I mean, I don't know if my deodorant.
Manual labor. I like this. This is what manual labor looks like from you.
That's
Hair wiry, sweaty face. I love it.
Hair
wiry, all over the place.
Yeah. It's exactly. So, anyways, all right. So what we're going to get down to is something that I haven't told anybody really but you. I've only discussed this with you. Okay. So that's why you don't have to feel like there is a lot of openness between the two of us because I have not shared this little fact with anybody but you. And this is the whole subspace context. And I haven't said anything about it because quite frankly, I don't understand it. It's weird. And it's like, I almost don't believe it. It feels like I'm in a chemically altered state when it happens, and it happens quite a lot. I kind of lose time a little bit, and things are fuzzy. And so I didn't, it was kind of, I don't want to say scaring me, but a little bit just like, whoa, like, can I talk about this? What the hell is this? And I started to do some research on it and about subspace. And I actually come to find out, I'm reading that, holy shit. No, I'm not weird. I'm not, this is what happens when all of our neurotransmitters get going. Like this is what this type of dynamic produces, the oxytocin, I can't name them all off. I'm not looking at a piece of paper, but just, all of the stuff that really starts to fire the good stuff in your brain, the feel good stuff, it's all flooding you at once. And it does make you almost feel like and stay with me on this one. I know it's going to sound a little strange, but a little hippy-dippy, but you feel like you're kind of floating out of your body. That's what it feels like. Have you had other subs tell you this?
Yes, I have. And I think with anything, as you're having these experiences, like a lot of our first experiences, right? You're kind of like in the moment, but you're trying to analyze the moment, like how you feel. You're trying to process all that stuff. And it feels good, but you're trying to understand like where you were at and how you got there and how much further in that space you can go. I think all these kind of things go through your mind. And what happens is the more you do it, the more relaxed you get, and you just get to enjoy it because it's supposed to be more of a peaceful moment. And for a lot of us, we just don't allow ourselves to have that much peace in our lives. It doesn't feel like, it either feels like we're not doing enough or we just find it hard to just let go. But when you let go and just enjoy the ride, I mean, truly just enjoy the ride, it's freeing. It really is. And I mean, you can never be in that space all the time. But when you get a chance to go there, it's kind of like getting a massage, you know. You might not be able to get them every day. You might not have enough time to get them every day. But when you do have time to get them, you want them.
Mm-hmm.
They feel absolutely great. You just want to do nothing but relax, maybe throw a blanket on you, just lay out and just, you know, chill. But that's what the experience is about. But what happens, what's not happening for a lot of submissives out there, they don't really have a guy that cares enough to get them to relax and fall into that space, nor do women feel comfortable enough to fall into that space. So it's different, but this is one of the things that come with the lifestyle. If you do it with a just person, that you can become not necessarily attached, but you get kind of scared, like, wow, will anyone else be able to get me there? And I like it, and I'm scared to give it up, you know? And it's the same for when you have a sub. It's the same when you get a sub that you really like that. You're like, wow, I got to try to give her all I can because I want to keep her. But, you know, life is not, you know, you can't really own anything in life but yourself.
Yeah.
But it is a great situation. And I've had that before. I've lost it, but it's good to have it and know what is real, know what's real, and know what's for you not real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was, you know, it's kind of more having me understand why this is so hard to explain to somebody else. So as an example, one of the guys that I see, you know, he's my people that listen to podcasts have heard me talk about him. We were having dinner the other night. Excuse me. His name's I call him BE. He's BE on the podcast, and he's always asking me about it to explain it, and you know, usually it comes up, and we were talking about it again the other night, and I just said but now that I'm kind of understanding it more, I said, look, let me tell you, like, this is kind of like this is what starts happening in your brain. It does. I mean, you literally, it is chemically induced what's going on. And so that's why, you know, I was telling him, I'm kind of understanding it a little bit better. And that's why you know, in the very beginning, when you were asking me about it, when he would ask me, well, what is being done to you? What, you know, how does that happen? Because he's trying to, you know, he really kind of wants, he's like, well, I want to do that too. And I'm like, I don't know, you know, I could never answer it before, but now I'm starting to understand it a little bit more and actually not be so embarrassed about it. I mean, I literally, you know, was embarrassed about it in the beginning because I didn't know what the fuck to make of it. You know, I'm going, I don't know what this is, but this is different, way, way different. And,
you know,
and I really was embarrassed about it. That's why I never said anything about it. It's the first time I think I'm really kind of saying, okay, like, it feels like I'm on drugs. I mean, it literally feels like you're on this great little, like, trip. It feels wonderful. And it's like you're attached to your body, but then you're kind of not, you know, you're really just kind of floating out there. And then certain things that he'll do, you know, like if he slaps me or spanks me or chokes me or whatever, like that'll, you know, that it sort of brings your focus back. You know, it brings your focus back, but you're still in that really, it doesn't feel like, you know, like the pain stuff, you know, like normally, you know, it doesn't, you receive it differently when you're in that mindset, when you're in that, it's just very pleasurable. And yeah, it's, you know, for a lot of people, that's hard to understand. Like, well, why would slapping feel good? Why would somebody's hand on your throat feel good? Why would being spanked feel good? Like, it just does.
Well, right. So let's go basic with it, right? Basic is when it comes to sex, some people desire more than just pleasure with sex. And all the things that you talked about, if you're using smells, oils, being smacked, vibrators, all that stuff is sensory play.
Yeah.
All that stuff is just taking your sensory system and shocking it or doing something different to it, right? And you've never had those things done. And what happens is we always hear like, oh, your body releases these endorphins during sex and that. But when these new experiences come on, that releases a different sensation within your body too. And you're really just surprised and trying to process it all. Because by nature, we want to control it. We want to figure out what it is. We want the answer right away. And a lot of it is, there's no answer. It's just how you feel. And you're in that moment forced to feel that. And you understand, like, wow, it took me to a whole nother level, to the point where whether you smoke cigarettes or not, after you're done, you like a cigarette. Like, I need that just to bring myself down.
Yeah.
Because, boy, I went hot. But this is why aftercare is so important. But before we even get to that far down the road, but really you're just shocking your sensory system. And I think for a lot of us, as we mature, we go from sex, freaky sex, freaky sex. Then it's like, well, what's next? And then, okay, we can keep doing this road. This is what sex is. And then you have these different experiences. And you're like, damn, if you're mixing a little pain or a little hardcore sensory play into this makes this thing a whole lot different. You know, slapping can make things more aggressive.
Well, yes. And also, yeah. I mean, but also like the choking. I mean, I told you like that I told you that kind of the last thing, the different thing that, I tried with, Cowboy was, basically like he choked me out, until I like kind of like passed out for a second. And we did that a couple times. Again, like I can't believe I'm like, when you say it so literally, it just sounds like, well, what the fuck? But I'm telling you, it is hot.
It feels great.
Fuck, it is hot as fuck. It is hot. I mean, just, it is so good. And, I think it's so interesting because when I look at, past vanilla sex encounters and where I thought I was like, where I thought I had a euphoric experience, not even close. This is just it's like night and day with when I'm talking about the what I'm starting to define as subspace versus, that kind of vanilla sex euphoria, like, oh my God, we were, so in tune or whatever. It's just, and you're like, everything feels good and everything's connecting and all that. And you think you're hitting on all cylinders. That's like, I don't know. That's like going 30 miles an hour. And then this is like a rocket ship, I mean, I guess, I mean, if just to kind of generically give you like what the difference is, but so I know what that's, now that I'm sort of now that I'm kind of coming out of the closet with it and saying like, holy shit, this is what I'm experiencing. It's like being on drugs. What's it like for the Dom? I mean, because to me, I'm almost feeling like shit. It sounds like the sub just gets a whole lot more out of this. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't. But see, then again, I don't think that because I know there's a counterbalance to it. So, what do you like? What does the Dom get out of that? Like when you're doing this stuff and your sub's just off there in frickin' La La Land.
So, oh boy, this is a good one. And I'm gonna take the long way on this one, and tell you that I was having a conversation with a friend tonight. She came by with a few books, and in this one book, it was saying she's not the opening chapter of the book is she's not a lawnmower. So let me tell you the title of the book before we go even further. Okay. So the book is called Love Worth Making: How to Have Ridiculously Great Sex in a Long-Term Lasting Relationship. And so the very first preface basically is she's not a lawnmower, but it talks about basically how what gets you off and what gets me off can be two different things. But sometimes men are programmed to, like, I want to make her wet. I want to make sure she comes. You know, we can be very goal oriented. Like, you know, things get real robotic with us. Like, I'm going to lick her pussy, make her pussy wet. I'm going to play with her titties. Whereas though you might suck your man's cock and get wet. Yeah. So it's different for everybody, right?
Right.
And I think part of I say all that to say part of this dynamic within the DNS paradigm is a dom that kind of knows that he can't force his way to the result that he wants. So he has to experiment with different methods to figure out what it is for you. Mm-hmm. Some women know what it is and it's fine. And then there's also shooting by using her. And so it might be putting a collar on her and making her walk across the floor.
Yeah.
It might be, you might make her wet, like, you know, she comes over and you tell her to, look, take all your clothes off right now. Like, it's just stuff like that. Like, you have to figure it out. And, you know, it takes time because but as a man, understand that and want to explore that, because it's the guy that's like, I'm going to finger her, she gets wet, and lick it, and lick nipples, and then she'll be wet, and I'm going to stick it. If you're really in that mood, that's not sustainable on being instant. So, because you're not really, like, and those are things that you should try to understand early, have conversation and figure out, like, what does it for you? You know, and then once you tell me that, it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you know how to get yourself off? You know, because you know, I know some women, it's like, oh, penetration, there's other things that I get off on, right? Mm-hmm. So, but she wait up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, like intercourse version, her coming, because for us, it's always an end result.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For men, there's always an end result, and women don't necessarily have sex for end result. Y'all have sex truly for pleasure. Mm-hmm. Men, our pleasure is in coming. Not enough of us have pleasure in the process of sex. I've had great sex and not come.
Yeah.
You know, but that's not the mentality of a lot of men. A lot of men are, if they don't come, it wasn't great. Mm-hmm. Or if they didn't make her come, he feels like he failed. Right. But that's not where a skilled man who tries to understand a woman's body and what does it for her, you know, that's not how we think. We think differently. We think, let me figure out what it is that she likes for herself, and I know what I like. And let's see if what I like turns her on even more. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and thus, like you said, you never had those certain experiences. He took you somewhere and you fell into this space that we call subspace. You fell into that space where it was kind of euphoric, right? And you're kind of out there.
Yeah.
And then to bring you back is a mop, right? Mm-hmm. And then that smack brings you back clear. But that feeling of euphoria is still an undercurrent.
It's still going, yeah.
Yeah, and he can take you back there quickly. You know, he can take you back there if he wanted to, or he can try to keep you out of it. But to keep you out of it is to shock you, because that space is kind of like a relaxed kind of zone. Mm-hmm. But if you shake someone up, you bring them out of that. But they can easily slide back into it if how you get them out of there is not too violent, of course.
Yeah. But so I'm sort of wondering, you know, while this is going on, what that's like for the dominant, you know, like, are they in that zone too? I mean, in the equivalent of that, you know, because there has to be something about the opposite end of that, you know, that is satisfying for them while they're in it too. So I guess I'm looking for maybe more than just, obviously the sexual stuff is, gratifying in and of itself, right? But the chemical part, I'm wondering, like, is there any chemicals going on the guy's side? I don't know. Or I say guy's side because obviously I'm female, but it can be, whoever the dominant is. Are there any, sort of extra special chemicals going on with the dominant?
I think for me, the finding a partner who truly is comfortable enough with you, and I'm not saying, and not foolishly comfortable, right? Mm-hmm. Not foolishly comfortable, someone who's, comfortable with you enough to allow you to explore your wildest thoughts, your darker side with them, is the dopamine right there for us.
Right.
Because you don't get that from every woman that you meet. Some we're like, oh yeah, I'm a submissive woman. But you start talking about doing some of the things we're talking about doing, they're like, I don't know. I need to think on that. I need to pray about that. The stuff like that. But to find a woman who's lets her guard down enough, who's clear, who's intelligent, who's just not some dopey, desperate chick that's just going to do whatever because you're the next
chick.
Because you're the next guy up, and this is what gets you off, daddy. Ooh, daddy, yeah, daddy. Mm-hmm. Not that a true woman who really feels like, she wants to be dominated. When you find that is dopamine itself. Then you can really dig into your mind and be like, ooh, let me dig in this bag for her. Because I'm sure there's a time where we all will date somebody that we all consider vanilla, right? And then it's like, okay, I'm going out with a vanilla chick. I got to leave certain things behind, right? Yeah. I can't, she's not going to be interested in this. I'm not even going to bring that to the table. But someone who's completely with it, you kind of open up.
Yeah.
You kind of open up. Like, okay, I'm with this now. She's going to let me do that too. Mm-hmm. Oh, great. So now you dig into a dominance creativity, and that gets you pumping. Creativity is, sexual energy is the strongest creative force in the earth. So everything that we doing, when you start putting sex behind it, it should make a man or a dominant in general just dig into their bag of tricks and figure it out. And you can't always go extreme unless they already told you the experience of, I met this one girl she was like, been a submissive for years, and I've done some slave, I've been a slave, and all the way down to having her to a boy.
Ay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like that deep in.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, oh, that's different. So unless you find somebody off the break like that, but most people who are kind of more open and willing may have had some erotic play, but they might not have had some of the deeper levels of things that you can do. They have nothing to do with really bondage or putting you in an uncomfortable situation. Just the scene alone, just the scenery, the role play, all those things that go into it. Like it can, a woman's panties can be wet before you even touch her.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So what is I want to know, what's your dark side? Do you have a dark side?
We all do, yes. I have a dark side, of course.
I want to talk about it.
You want to talk about my dark side?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to peek in? Okay.
I want to peek in. I want to see, lift up the kimono. Let's see what's there, please.
So it would depend on the sub to a degree. Where does she want to go? How far can I take her down that road?
So if there's kind of no limits for you, what, how deep is this going to go?
With no limits. with what I know right now. Probably, definitely, I'm going to use my cross. I'm going to restrain her for a while and just have a great time. I'm going to bring out all my little toys. I'm going to get my wax out, my pinwheel out, my flogger, my crop.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a good time with the cross. And it's going to be the cross and the floor. And it's going to be...
What happens on the floor?
What happens on the floor? Well, the floor serves the purpose of... I like training. So, like, you know, so let's just say I have a sub, there's no host part. Okay, great. When she comes over, the first thing she needs to do is take her clothes off in the bathroom, walk down the hallway, kneel at the door. Okay, she needs to kneel at the door and knock. Then I'll answer the door. She must come in, keep her eyes to the floor, kneel in front of me, and then, you know, I'm gonna get her up. I'm gonna do some work on her, wax play. Like I said, I'm gonna use the flogger. I might use the paddle on her, because you can put a person on the cross with their back on the cross and with their front on the cross. So there's gonna be some work. Then after that, you know, lay them on the floor and do some more things. Maybe restrain them. You know, I might, being as though it's hot now, I'll put some chains in the freezer, bring them out, put them on her, and then maybe come with like a hot knife, a knife that I put in some hot water, and then, you know, just all different kind of sensory play, like session. You know, like really put together like an hour and a half session. Like really edgy, and like some real hard, not hardcore, but I would say on a close line to hard edging. I want edging. I want an hour of edging and no penetration at all.
Oh, okay. So you don't want her to be having an orgasm at all. You want to be edging her that whole time.
Now, if she gets off on hot wax touching her, I mean, I'm fine with her having a word. My goal isn't to penetrate her. You see what I'm saying? Like, if anything that I'm doing makes her so wet that she orgasms, that's fine. That's fine. She can't tell me, because she's gonna have a ball gag in her mouth too. That's another thing. You already know that she can't talk.
Okay, let me clarify that. Okay, so yeah, she's okay.
So if I see her, because you know when you're on the cross, you're wide open. Your arms are different directions, and your legs are too. So if she starts dripping, then I know what I'm doing. Okay, I make a mental note of that. Like, okay, when I ran the pinwheel down the middle of her body, I saw her pussy start dripping. So then I'm gonna make a little note of that. Like, okay, I know that gets her off that way. Or if I see something pains her, right? And then we'll have a gesture if it's too extreme of a pain for her, or if it's, you know, or if it's good. It's the good pain. Because some people can't take the pinwheel. They can't take the they don't like, people that don't like needles will not like the pinwheel. You know, it's kind of, it's like that, because it's a sharp, like, but it goes away so fast.
Yeah.
I love the pinwheel. Like, I scratch my back with my pinwheel. I'm so sick of it. I'll be like, where's my pinwheel at? I start scratching my back. It's crazy. I figured that out one day. I was like, well, I was like, with my back scratch. I was like, you know what? Let me use the pinwheel. Ooh, that feels so good. But that's what I would do. That's what I would do. And depends on, based upon what we talk about, I might not get the cross out. I might just straight ravage her. You know, if she's always wanted to do a non-consent play, then I wouldn't even have her suspect that that's how this is about to go.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, we're gonna get together and boom, boom. As long as we are in that space that we agree already, that if we're dating, it is what it is. So I mean, I would just one night just burn her, and just take it from her.
Yeah.
Just take her.
Yes.
And tie her up, talk dirty to her. I'll get into a whole different character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Get into a whole different character. One night, I don't know if I told you this before. I think I did. But my a lover of mine, she sort of like a frat boy, a four play.
That's hot.
Right, where we're drinking and we're drinking, actually drinking and just talking, having a good time. And then it's like something's in her drink and she passes out.
Mm-hmm.
And she's laying there.
Wait, can I stop you?
Okay.
I swear to God, part of my rape fantasy is being roofied.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Roofing the fuck out of me. I mean, obviously knowing this is going to happen, right? Roofing me. And then I wake up, I'm in the middle of nowhere with you. And, and then I don't get a say, I just and I'm pissed about it. And, but I've been abducted. So I don't get, that's part of it. Yeah. Cause I'm like, how someone's got to get me out of move me from place A to place B, and and that's how I want it to go.
Yeah. So we did that, and she was acting like she was knocked out and all that, and I played with her and I did some things, and I talked. I was talking like a straight creep or a straight perv.
Yeah.
Oh, God, the whole time, and it was fun. Until she started moving, I was like, "All right, well, you're not supposed to move when we having sex."
Oh, you're supposed. She was liking it.
She was like, "Damn, man, it's so hard. It's so hard to do." But stuff like that. I think of a bunch of different scenarios from time to time. I really need to write shit down.
Why is that? Why do you think the consent, non-consent? Why do you think this? Or I'll say just generically, I'll call them rape fantasies. Why do you think this kind of stuff is so hot? Because to me it is, but why do you think it's so hot?
Because it's a fear. It's fear. Mm-hmm. It's fear, and it's a fun way to face a fear. Mm-hmm. Because women know that's a reality of their lives when it comes to being in a world of men. Mm-hmm. Because men can overpower you. And so women know that, and we don't condone none of that type of craziness that goes on, right? We got to we always have to clarify that. We're talking about consent, non-consent, but however, I think overall it's just something that's a horrific event that can happen, but it's also it's a fear, but it's also sex, right? Because they say some rape victims say they feel so guilty because while they were being raped, they did actually feel pleasure from it. Mm-hmm. So they feel conflicted about it, Mm-hmm. And so I think that's part of the attraction is that you're not in control. You're being forced to do something. You're being forced into the pleasure that you don't want. And even though you don't want it and you fight against it and you push against it, you still feel pleasure from it. So after a while, not only are you being overpowered physically by that person, but the feeling of it all is enjoyable while it's horrible. So it's still that kind of pleasure and pain kind of duality that flows in it, right? It's kind of good, kind of bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's the ride that I want to be on, like roller coasters. Like, let's fuck up roller coaster. It's going to take me through loops, ups and downs. But what makes it so scary is this low ass car that might fly off this fucking track. Yeah. So it's a thrill, it's a rush. And at the end of it, this rush is not going to end up with you being scarred for life.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that I think the thing that draws me to that is, the rape play and that kind of a thing. What I find so hot about that is it's sort of a super hyper exaggerated version of the things and the characteristics that I like about a dominant man. I like knowing that I'm with someone that obviously, men are stronger than women, and like, I mean, they get to really, physically for the most part. I know, obviously, and I'm not discounting women. I mean, they got their shit together too. A lot of women are, very strong and all that stuff. But like for the most part, you could be walking down the street and some guy could overtake you at any time. It's kind of, it's like I said, so it's kind of hot that, you get to know that the man you're with, you can tap into that, that side of him, and freely without this being a bad thing, and have it be just something like just super, super, because like, primal and sexual and, and real kind of animalistic on its most basic level, because that's kind of what we are, and to remove all those, oh, you shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that, and that, but just to kind of go for it, like physically, men are designed to be stronger than women. Okay. They're designed to, overtake, overpower, that kind of thing. Okay, do it. It's just like, oh, I mean, in an agreed upon circumstance, I think it's just fucking hot. And that's why I say, I don't think, this is how I know I could never be a lesbian, because men are so, that masculine energy is so attractive to me. I mean, on a genetic, primal, breeding kind of like level, cave woman level, like that's what I like. Yes, it's a man, like the shoulders, the arms, I mean, everything, man's physique. I mean, everything that just kind of like physically makes a man a man. I'm like, oh, that gets the fire in my loins.
The fire, but she's right. It's that power. It's that power, and it's the power how he wields it, how he holds that,
Yes.
And and you can tell he's pouring all the gas on, or he's not pouring it all on. Like, you can feel when he has more in him, but he's giving you some mercy about it. Like, I'm not going to take you all the way there right now, because you can't give everybody everything all at once. It's so overpowering, it's overwhelming.
No. And that's why I'm always saying, like, I'm always trying to like poke the bear. Like, I got to put my finger on the hot stove. Like, I know I shouldn't, but my MO is, it's like, I can't believe I haven't gotten in more trouble in life, but it's just like, if I know that's in there, I have to bring it out. Like, I want to see it. I want that, like, unleash all that on me. I want it. And I don't know why. I just do. So it's kind of like, and that's where, I think that's where, you had said, well, you're kind of like, you're a brat, well, that's the bratty side. I think, if you want to label it that way, it's like, I'm like, give me that, and give it to me, and so, and if I being in my naughty mode, if I can't get it, I'm going to provoke it, and I do, and I believe me, I can't, I cross the line as just about as many times as I don't, just about as many times as I get right on that edge and ride that edge. But I will sometimes I'm just like, I have to, I got to stick my hand on the stove. I can't help it. Like,
you got to interject yourself.
I have to have it. Yeah.
You got to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you want to, you like your energy, your soul right now just wants experience, and you don't want that same old thing. It's boring for you.
It's boring. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the thing is, you feed off of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
That experience, the DS experience for you has just woken you up. So a whole new thing. And you're aware, like your eyes is open. Yeah. You don't get that much with vanilla. Vanilla is like, I got a great guy or not. Yeah. No, he's a great guy, blah, 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 blah. But it's no like, God damn, I can't wait to get home. This he's gonna really do. Man, I done said some dumb shit to him in this restaurant. When we get home, he's gonna let that on me. You know, it's not like that. You know, some guys that just not talk to you. They'll be like, fuck her, and not talk. You know, whereas the dominant might get quiet, but you know, when we get home, well, it's gonna be some punishment coming.
It's like when you were a kid, and I don't know if this is maybe from our generation, a lot of people will relate to this. Like when your parent looked at you and said, you know, just wait till we get home. And you knew, like, when you got home, your fucking ass was grass.
It was grass, right? And the anticipation of it all was torturous.
Yeah, it was, because you knew you were scared. You're like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Don't rush to get home.
Oh, no, because you knew you were in fucking trouble. And and that's what I think, maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Maybe it's like some weird, strange, like childhood thing. I didn't get in trouble that much, but I actually didn't, like, I don't think I ever had, I know I had that look. It wasn't bad to come home to, but whatever it was, like, you know, you got that look. You just knew, like, oh man, like,
it's curtains.
It's curtains. Yeah, like they're not gonna say it right now because we're all in front of, like, you know, friends and polite company. But when we get home, it's on.
Curtains.
Yeah,
my ass is grass.
Your ass is grass. Exactly.
Grass.
Mm-hmm. And so I think that's that wild little streak in me, like, well, how far can I push this? And how, you know, like, and then when you know but it's different now, because when you know it's coming, you're like, oh, you know, there's a part of you it is scary, but it's all because you don't know exactly what's coming, but right. You know that you want to ride that ride.
Right.
Yeah. You're like, I'm on it. Let's go. And I'll take my punishment. I'm ready to take my punishment.
So it's funny. I have a friend, and she came over this weekend, and we were talking. And she said, I had alluded to something like, you know, like, you don't get to say this. And she said, well, you know, like, why? Like, I heard what you said. I heard you say I don't get to say it. Like, why? Why is that? Blah, blah, blah. I said, well, you know, you like certain aspects of the DNS, but you're not really a true devoted person to it. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's fine. I was like, you're just not going to stay on task, and that's going to get you, that's either going to get me frustrated or you punished a lot, right?
Right.
And I was saying to her, like, you know, I was telling her, like, you know me by my real name, and we have a different kind of relationship. I was like, but there's some people that only know me as Sir Inq. They only know me as Inq, and they address me that way. I was like, they won't use my government. They're only going to use Sir Inq, like, and that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I was like, yeah. And I was like, and for those people, they got a different set of rules. They got a different set of responsibilities to me every day than you do. Mm-hmm. You know, I was like, you know, you get, you know, but I was like, there was only, you know, a real true son for me. Man, she got tasks that she got to do every day. She got things she has to do every day. I expect them to be done. No excuses. Then if she fucks up, then there's punishment to follow. All kinds of stuff with different protocols. I was like, yeah. And she's like, I was like, yeah, because you're not disciplined right now. I was like, when you want to get in discipline, this will help you establish that. Like, this, the responsibilities you have to me every day until this process teaches you discipline in all areas. Mm-hmm. It's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's different. But so many want to just do what they want to do. And that's good. But I just told her, like, you know, for me, this is the first time in my life where I'm mature enough in this. I'm mature enough in this lane. And I'm finally single. So now I'm really gonna live it 24/7. Like I'm not interested in anyone who's not interested in a lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that's interesting. And you and I've kind of talked about that, where you are now moving into this place where you have, it's kind of fun. I mean, you're almost like generically speaking, like me, kind of when I started this several years back, except for you already have an established lane. I did, and I was like, I'm a swerving all over the place. I'm like, I'm in this. Excuse me, I'm coming over. I'm in this lane. I'm in that lane. It took me a while to kind of really figure out, or stumble on this and realize, well, wait a minute, this I really enjoy this. But I mean, it's kind of exciting because now, for you especially, you're free to really explore the hell out of this and
Right.
find someone, and that you can define it any way you want. And you should, you absolutely should. And I know I've asked you before, like, do you think is this something you really need? And I think you kind of said, you had said that you don't, you kind of know right at this point in the vanilla thing, you need more than that, right?
Right.
More than, I mean, you don't want to repeat that. You kind of know that the type of relationship you need is going to be more in the dominant, submissive arena.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I really want to stay there. I really want to stay there in that. It allows me to express myself the way I really want to express myself. And I just don't like what comes with the vanilla stuff, man. It's just, I'm just too, my mind and where I'm at is just far beyond that.
Yeah.
I don't fit in that box anymore.
Yeah.
And nor do I want someone in that lifestyle to just accept me for being me, because they go from accepting you for being that way to tolerating you being that way. And their tolerance comes with it don't come with a smile,
Yeah.
Sometimes tolerance comes with, how long you planning to be doing this shit?
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so I'm not saying everybody does that. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying the probability for that to be the result is very high. I mean, I've done it a couple times and I'm done with it. I've tried it, and twice it's been just hell to pay. So I gotta find somebody that's in the lifestyle.
I mean, this is what you're saying right now is very poignant to me, because I'm still kind of trying to straddle both worlds a little bit, or like, okay, well, I can, okay, well, I can have this, and then I can also have that, but there's a clear divide between when somebody really understands this and lives it versus somebody who
tolerates it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yes, like you said, I'd say more. I don't know that I haven't had the tolerate. I'm going to tolerate it experience yet, but I could see how that could be coming. I could see where that would, because let's be honest. If you reverse the roles and it's a vanilla man, let's say, and he's like, oh, this is exciting. The woman I'm with is kinky. Like. That's it is when you reverse that, it is different than the woman who's the more conservative one going, I don't like that, right? That is a big, because if your woman's not happy, you're not happy. She's gonna make sure you're not happy.
Yeah, she's gonna make sure you're fucking miserable.
That's right. Versus. I'll say, I will swing for the guys team here on this one, where I think it's a little more, where if it's the other way around, a guy can be a little more tolerant, because that's kind of cool. Right. That's like, even if that's not his lane, it's kind of like, oh, it's still exciting. It's like, ooh, I got a kinky chick,
Right. And a guy might try to join in.
Mm-hmm. Right. They're more, exactly. They're more interested in being on some level, as the best way that they can, being a quasi party to that, whether it's, like I said, because I have a guy that's kind of vanilla. He's like, well, all right, let me see the videos. Like, let me see. I want to watch it. And then he's like, that's hot, and like that kind of thing. But still, it's But at the end of the day, it's a weird place it's odd to straddle that fence, and if it's odd for me as a woman, then I know, sure as shit, it's got to be way more divisive for a man who's got a vanilla chick who's like, I don't know, like that's, I'm not sure you could actually pull that off.
No, you can't, and because your life is torturous.
You're gonna pay.
No, you said it right. You will be tortured by insecurities, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah. So now that you know that, and you it sounds like you've been open-minded. You kind of want to, you tried that, and now you kind of know, like, all right, that won't work. Are you really in touch with what you need as a dominant? It sounds like you are, but are you really in touch with what you need as a dominant, from your partner, your submissive? Like, are you really clear on those things, or is there still some kind of, you'll ferret that out with the right person?
I only try to meet people in the lifestyle. Like, I don't even, like, if I met someone randomly in the street, I wouldn't just bust right out with it. But, eventually in one of the first two conversations we would have, I would, find out what they're into.
Yeah.
Like, like, what is your, sexual experiences like? Are you into, anything, role play? I'll start out with role play and see what they say.
Yeah.
And then, like, go from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy.
I guess if they balk at the role play thing, or they blink their eyes like, what are you talking about? That's kind of a big indicator.
Yeah, if they don't like role play, it's a wrap. I mean, that's basic level.
Yeah.
That's basics right there. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is part of the lifestyle that makes us all a masochist, right? Because you like this lifestyle so much, you're gonna just wait on it, and it makes us all a masochist. Like, I gotta go through the fake subs and all that. So it's like it's painful, some of this process.
So let me ask you this: are there? I know there's fake doms out there, or, well, I don't want to say fake doms, or I don't know what the fuck they are. I just know that when I first started doing this, there were, about 10, what is flat out called just ding dongs, who, came right at me and almost really kind of turned me off to this completely.
Right.
Because they were just so fucking ridiculous. I mean, really.
Right.
Wanting me to call them sir right away. And all I said was, I just want to try this. I was open and honest. I said, I've never done this. I don't know anything about this. I'm drawn to it. I'd like to try some things. I need somebody experienced who can help me just kind of navigate. Yeah. And just, I mean, I don't know where this is going to go, but would you be willing to see? And oh my God, I mean, the fucking loser. But seriously, I mean, I know it sounds awful, but and so on that point, to that point of where there's one good one, there's 10 ding dongs. Would you say the converse is true, that for where there's one really good sub, there may be 10 goofballs?
Yeah, the ratio is bad, man. The ratio's bad. And I think social media has hyped it up so much that you don't know who. I mean, I can't say you don't know who's who, because some people are just so apparent, especially guys. Oh, you got to submit to me, but here's the dick pic. That's that kind of shit. That's what they do. Yeah, these guys is just fuck twats, man. So, and with social media, you can be passive aggressive. Like, I don't really know you, so I just send you a picture of my dick, and if you like it, then okay, we can talk. And if you don't like it, then oh well. Wait, pretty girl, some of dick.
Can I interject one thing really fast? This is awful, but I'm going to say it right now.
Yeah.
You know how like we are always on Tumblr, and like there was this little video, real quick little GIF that came by that this girl's, she's sucking this guy's cock, she's on her knees, and she's all happy about it, and just really kind of getting into she's just sucking on the head of his cock, and I'm looking at him like, well, fuck, she can only get to the head, because god damn that. I almost wanted to repost it, reblog it, and say, disappointing. I'm not a size queen, but this, she's like, she's 33 1/3% in with that head right there. And then the rest is just, what is that?
Right.
It's wrong. It was terrible. I thought, that's just like, that's one of those moments where you are finding out the hard way that what you have on your hands. Yes. She's doing that's a mercy suck right there. That's like, let me tell you something. I'm gonna pity fuck this guy, and I'm gonna get the fuck up and leave.
Yeah, and I'm like, you don't have to continue. If it ain't good like that, then take this. Well, let's just fuck, and then you can go about your way, because I can't take a bad blowjob. My God.
That's right.
A bad blowjob is depressing. Like, damn, man. Damn, baby, you can't. Or maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's us. Maybe not feeling the vibe. Right, I guess, that can happen.
Yeah.
That can happen.
I know. But I was watching, like I said, I was just like scrolling through, my Tumblr feed, and I see this come up, and I'm like, all I could, it's normally the stuff you see is really sexy, and you're like, oh, that's, yes, I like that. I'll reblog that. And then I was looking at him going, I mean, all I could do is be critical about this. I'm like, it's really small, and I don't know, like, if I was her, I might be really disappointed. Like, that's when I pulled his pants down, that's what I found.
Yeah. It could be all. Yes. It could be his balls is thinking of something. I don't know.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what I did I waylaid us on that one, but I just, I thought it was kind of funny. And again, I'm not, I'm not I don't want to say I'm far from a size queen, but every once in a while you look at something, I'm like, this guy's really, really small. And why did they put this up like as this hot featured like porn GIF when the guy's like got a little mushroom head? I mean,
yeah, it's sad. I've seen some stuff and I'm like, he working it. Like, he working his hips, but then he got a pump like that
because he's got to.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe it's so small. Maybe the more he keep going, it just feel like one long dick test. I don't know.
Maybe he's a grower and not a shower. I don't know. Anyway.
Lord, God bless him.
Okay, I'm sorry. Please go back to what you were saying. I apologize for sidetracking you on that one, but I don't think anybody in this conversation has that to worry about. But we're going to go back to... Let's go back to what you were talking about.
Okay, let's go back to what I was talking about.
Oh, you said... Well, I know. After I sidetracked you, like, what was I saying?
Are you watching? Are you looking at porn while you talking to me?
Well, it is up on, yeah, it's up on my screen. I'm sorry.
You're
I'm
so
not
crazy.
scrolling. I'm not scrolling. It's just like kind of coming in.
Oh, you just got porn coming in.
It's just coming in. I see like, yeah, this girl's like licking some balls and then it kind of falls
Oh
on her
shit!
chin. Yeah. Okay. But what you were saying was, this
Right
is
on.
kind of in the context of the porn, you were saying is like bad blowjobs.
Mm.
And so maybe I'm very curious, what constitutes a bad blowjob?
Boy, somebody that just don't know how to kiss. If you don't know how to
Mm,
kiss, if
yeah.
you don't know how to kiss, I don't think you can give me a good head job. Some people just think putting their mouth on it and going up and down is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. All about technique.
What about swallowing? Just is that a requirement? What if some
Um,
women don't like to swallow cum? What's your thoughts on that?
no, I don't give a shit as long as you make me come. Once it's out of me, I don't. It just doesn't matter. It can be on you, it can be in you,
Okay.
wherever you want to do it. But I
Okay.
mean, a girl that swallows, she can swallow your soul out you. So you know that. I mean,
So
if she want to keep you, she should swallow.
yeah. So it's funny because amongst my girlfriends and I, this is like there's a divisive line, like those that will swallow and those that will not. I just to me, I don't understand how you can't. I look at it this way, but I've never, again, I'm not a guy and I don't ejaculate. I don't know how that all goes on, but
All right, hold on before you say that. Let me get my warm lotion ready.
okay. Okay. Are you ready?
All right, go ahead.
All
I'm
right, now
ready
we're gonna talk
now.
about some sexy stuff. Okay, here we go. Um, but it's almost like if a guy's going down on me, he's licking my clit, he's
Mm-hmm.
sucking my clit, and then he just, as I start to come, he just stops what he's doing. I that's like, what the fuck, right? Like, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
I don't suck you all the way through your orgasm. It's like, what? I mean, that to me that just seems odd. So for me, I just cannot take pride in my work unless I'm if I don't finish you
Fully
off,
engaged.
if I don't finish that off, I mean, what? I don't know. I don't get it. Like, to me, that's a cardinal sin. You
Mm-hmm.
are going to finish what you start, and you're going to finish it all the way to the best of your ability. And that means
Mm-hmm.
it's all the way down your throat. I mean, you are sucking and just all the way through. You're not stopping. There's no breaks, no timeouts. You have
Mm-hmm.
to, you know,
No timeouts.
no, no, no. I mean, you, no, mm-mm. It can be long.
Duh.
You can be down there a long time, and I have been down there a long time. Sometimes you think you're going to get lockjaw. Guess what? You suck it up, you take it like a woman, and you finish the job.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's all about the technique. The technique. That's one thing I loved about
I mean,
Nikki. I keep talking
you,
about that. She
yeah.
would know how to make me come when she wanted to, but she
Mm-hmm.
would spend 20 minutes down there just sucking my cock.
Yeah.
And she loved making it hard. And she like letting it go soft. And she like getting it back up. And then I'm like, okay. She'd be like, all right, and just make me come. Like it
Yeah.
was crazy the command that she had of it. Like I fucking got spoiled.
Yes. Don't you think I think there's, as I've heard from guys, that it's kind of like you always have that one person that did something, whether it's the hand jobs, the blow jobs,
Mm-hmm.
you know, milked your cock with her pussy, whatever it was, whatever it was. Like there's always like that one person that did this well or that well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the same for girls, right? It absolutely is. But um, but to me, like, to put my mouth on a man and suck his cock, it's so intimate. It's intimate it's intimate, but it can, it can also just be super primal, right? I mean, that's what I like about it. There's so many different ways to go about that, right? It can be very intimate and done a certain way, and then it can just be like full on, just raunchy, and it's all good. That full spectrum is all good. But I think you really have to enjoy and love it, because and to me, that includes swallowing. And if you're not a swallower, in my opinion, my humble opinion, that just means you're not in it. You're not all in. Something that's holding you back. And I just can't do it that way. Like, I mean,
or you never had the experience where someone really tried to school you on how to please someone else other than yourself. I mean, it takes time.
Yeah, that could be it. It could be. You're right. I think that there's an element of that as well, because for me, when I'm doing that and you're into it, it's very exciting. It's very stimulating. It gets you. I mean, it's almost like I'm edging myself by sucking this cock. It's really hot, right? I mean, I love it. And so, and that's why there's no way I could let, any of that, whatever's coming out, like that is a product of my work, God damn it. And I'm going to swallow every bit. I earned that.
Now, here's the funny thing, right? So now knowing that, right? So if you're a guy that knows that, pays attention to that, right? Now it's like, if we're going to have sex, then I would tell you, suck my dick. Because I know that's going to make you wet, right? You suck my cock.
But the face fucking, like the face fucking, Like,
all that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if my eyes are watering and I'm gagging and it even sounds weird, like, because, obviously when you're doing that, like, there's a lot of kind of stuff that sort of builds up in your throat. I mean, just like, I love it.
Yes. And right. So instead of a guy trying to do anything else to make your pussy wet, right? You just suck my cock. And he knows after you finish sucking his cock, you're wet. See, that's just learning another person's body. That's just paying attention. Just paying attention to your conversation. Yeah. It's that easy.
But something and so this is where I want to kind of say, like, to a guy's credit. As I slowly sort of started to explore this stuff, I like, when I started, I'm like, don't take my head and ram it down. I mean, I'm like, let me do what I want to do. I always enjoyed blowjobs, but I didn't want it to be forced. I certainly would never let anybody like face fuck me. Oh my God, that was awful.
Right.
And I just, because the thought, right? I didn't know how much I would love that, and then go on to just like really crave that. And so, there's certain things that you can kind of, if you have somebody that's going to help you explore these things at the right time, kind of really understand you, get to know you, size you up. I think there's a lot of places that a lot of women can be led very willingly.
Listen, how about this? Walk you in, everything's jovial, but it's a DNS relationship, right? Yeah. And be like, listen, slave, if she's a slave or so, whatever. I want you to get on your knees, and I want you to get on your knees by that wall, and lean your back on the wall with the back of your head on the wall, and skull fuck her.
That's right, the skull fucking.
Skull fuck her. Tie her hands behind her back, put her against the wall, and fucking skull fuck her. She can't fucking move her head.
I, I have a real quick funny story. Side note on that.
Okay. All right. Great.
When I
love your side notes.
It's just a side note, but when I was, I don't know, like, I maybe like 21 or something. I was out with one of my really good friends. She's still one of my really good friends. And this guy had said to her, I don't know how, I don't know what their banter was going back and forth. Like he liked me and I think he thought she was cock blocking him or something. Anyway, and he said something like, "Oh, I will skull fuck you," and to her. And
right.
And she was like, "Whoa, whoa!" We were so like, "Oh my god!" You know, she was so offended, and that was that. You know, he basically then the other guys around us who were just friends, like kind of like bounced that guy like out of the away, right? Get the fuck away from these girls. At the time, I mean, and she was like, "Did you hear what he said?" I didn't actually know what the context of skull fucking was, and I know she didn't either. It's just that in our little vanilla minds, we're like, "That's so offensive." We didn't know what the fuck it was, but we knew like, "Oh, vanilla walls are up." We're like, "No."
Right. Right. Absolutely.
So that's my only like. That's my funniest point of reference to that. Like that actual phrase "skull fucking" was. We were just like, "Oh, this is so offensive."
It's funny. It's funny how you mature, isn't it?
Yes.
It's so funny.
I know. I said to her today, like, "Hey, guess what? I love skull fucking. I love to get skull fucked. You skull fuck me all day long. It's fabulous." Right. And she probably.
Hilarious.
Yeah. It's like, remember when we said that was no good? Oh yeah, it's very good. We love that.
But once you realize that skull fucking gets you off, you're like, need that.
Yes. It's like sometimes, yeah. I mean, I will find myself, just like thinking about like, oh my god, like. Yes, I don't. In whatever position it is, however it's done. If I'm up against the wall or I'm on the bed and my neck's kind of hanging off the edge of the bed, however it's done, it's just.
Let that neck hang off the bed. That means the balls sitting on the forehead. That's great.
Then if he can reach forward and he's touching me, I'm right. All that good stuff.
Wonderful. All that good stuff. Completely open. Can finger you 69.
Anything. Whatever. Anything. There's my body splayed out right in front of you. What are you going to do while I'm, while you're ramming your cock down my throat and my eyes are watering and I'm gagging and I'm getting like, I'm so wet. I'm so, I'm making a little puddle on the bed.
Please wear some cheap mascara.
I know. You know what? I know. I need to throw out the water. I'm like, I see these. Yes, I guess I got to throw out the waterproof.
Yeah, of course. When you're in session, of course.
You document that.
Yeah, you got to put the cheap shit on, man. So when your eyes water, it runs. You got to. I mean, it's for effect. It's like it's like red lipstick smeared on your face. Like all those things is just for look.
I know. I love that. Dude, smear that shit all over the place.
Yeah, smear that shit the fuck all over. Let it smack.
Let me have a nice red lipstick ring right around the base of your cock.
Right. I mean, imagine, just
that's why I wear red lipstick all the time. I love it. Right. It shows up. It shows up places.
Imagine if he just spins you around, right? Spontaneously spins you. Puts his hand around your throat, pushes you to the wall, takes his thumb and like rubs your lips and smears your lipstick, smacks you, pushes you on your knees and skull fucks you. That's like wonderful.
I know, because I'm his little slut.
Yes, exactly. And right. And say, I want that little slut. She deserves this.
What is that? I'm like, what is that about being a little slut and being used? That's so.
Because it feels so good.
Oh, God, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God, it does. But this is where I'm telling you, I got to say, I just think being the submissive is so rewarding.
Here's the funny thing. So, how people have this look about Muslims because the women are all garbed up. They can't show anything, and all that. And so I have a client who goes back. He travels around the world for this company doing engineering work. And he was like, Miles, listen, Saudi Arabia, the women are garbed up. They can't show their faces, blah, 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 blah. He said, but if you go into the mall, they got a Victoria's Secret in the mall.
Yeah.
So, and I say that to say that no matter how people look on the outside, or what they project to the world, they still getting their freak on.
Yeah.
It's just up to you if you can bring it out. Now, some people through religion and these kind of societal norms that we know all too well here, people are too uptight to do anything that's a little out of missionary and doggy style. Like they're completely, they don't do anything. But for everybody else that needs a little bit, more on their plate, we have to seek each other out, man, because that life of religious rites and all that, that's a little too rigid for me. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of fun. Sex doesn't seem very fiery.
Yeah.
And it just seems like everybody's sexuality is, a woman's sexuality is crucified because a man's still going to do what he's going to do. A man going to have the sweet apple pie wife who's just so perfect at home and making everything right. Why he got a whore out in the street? But some men are crazy. Like, they don't want to treat their wives like they would treat a whore, which is ridiculous to me. I need to have a certain level of sex, period, with whoever I'm doing it with. If she's my wife, I don't look at her no different if I scold fuck my wife. But some dudes get this thing. They put their women on a pedestal, like up there with their mom. So shit like that, they look at it like, oh, no, I can't do that with my wife. Like, yeah, fuck her right, tie her fuck up and fuck her mom.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting point. It's funny because I think that, but again, we're kind of covering a lot of bases, but let's go quickly back to the Muslim,
Okay.
Where they're covered up and things like that. See, I think like that, a lot of people think that's oppressive. And while I admit that I don't, I've studied it enough, but I obviously don't live that way. But what some of the impressions that I've gotten is that, again, something like that, where it's a little, where the woman's covered up, she is the prize. She is on, she is on the pedestal. And so, and they can get, as freaky as they want, with their husbands or however willing they're, their husband's willing to go. But I think that there's always some sort of liberation in even, what we as a Western culture may find as, somewhat oppressive. I don't actually look at it that way. Like I said, I feel like, I think from what I've gotten, and maybe a small glimpse, but I think those women, they got it going on. They know where it's at. They know how to get and keep, get their man excited and all that. And like I said, it's the art of the tease, whereas maybe over here we're a little more, because we're showing skin and we're showing our hair and we're not covered from head to toe. It's a little more obvious, but there's still, we still like to take some of those qualities, as women, and where we would be normally, like, why do we find that librarian that's like, got a covered all the way up to her turtleneck, and right. I mean, that, like, basically, with a real straight, like, A-line skirt past her kneecap. Why do we find all that stuff attractive? Because it's well, what's under all that? Like what's there? So it's the same idea. It just gets applied differently. And I think people kind of forget that, like how sexuality kind of transcends just different, cultures and the way it'll show up and apply itself. But again, I'm okay with everything being open and out there, and then there's also nothing wrong with dialing it back a little bit and being a little more, downplaying it and just kind of going back to basics. And right. when you're working on a man, when you go back to basics and just really use the art of seduction, because if you didn't, I think women should kind of think about this. If you didn't have the ability to just, with all your skin showing, like, how would you seduce a man? Still got to do it.
Still got to do it. Got to use what you have.
Yeah, it could be because, like I said, you could show up looking like, with your Victoria's Secret model stuff on, or there's other ways, so right. That's what I like. That's what I like as a woman. We have the full gamut of tools in our little bag of tricks that we can use. And all of that stuff is fun, exciting, erotic, healthy, and we get to use it. And you guys are so wonderful because you love all of it.
Yeah, we get to have.
You love all of it. You love the full-on visual stimulation, and then you love, you can go the other way too, and you love the art of seduction. So it's great.
Yes, all the above.
Yeah. So this conversation, do you remember what you said to me? You were like, okay, we can't go long. We got to make it short. Here we are. We're an hour and a half into this. We started with...
Are we?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
I know, because when we get going, we just get going. But we originally, what we were starting with was the whole, that just chemically altered subspace. And
right.
I have to, before we end, I want to bring it back to that because okay. That's seriously, that's my burning freaking thing. It's like, it's cat's out of the bag now. I'm in a chemically induced altered state, when I'm in the reading what he just texted me. When I'm in that mode,
right.
It's weird. And like I said, for the longest time, I never said anything about it because I was like, what the fuck is this? This is weird. I can't talk about this. There's shit going on in my head, and I just thought I don't know how to explain it. And then the more I kind of reached out there, other subs are saying this too, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is normal. This is what happens. But why do you think that sensation, that feeling, that state of being or mindset is produced when in the dominant submissive acts and not in your normal vanilla act? What do you think? What do you think the difference is?
The difference between the DNS and vanilla.
Why do those actions? Because it can literally be a look. It can be his voice. It can be the way that person just touches you in a slight way that produces that response. That's how hypersensitive it is. Once you tap into it, I've never had that in a vanilla relationship.
So this is what I would say. So in my opinion, this is where the submissive poses come in. because and you do yoga, right?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, like, so the submissive pose is just like yoga or meditation.
Mm-hmm.
It is about you being able to focus on a pose and then just let your mind escape, all the world, right? That's what kneeling is supposed to be for. It's like humbling, but you're kneeling with your head down. So you're in this state of like meditation almost. And so because you do yoga and because of these submissive poses, if you do them, if you don't, I would suggest that you practice them. But that's not for me to say. But they help you get to subspace when he's not around.
Maybe I've been in subspace. That's interesting because maybe I've been in, I know like when I'm in the yoga room.
Right.
There's like, yes, I do get in a different space. I didn't draw the parallel between the two. So that's really interesting. I'm going to think about that because definitely, I've been doing yoga for over 15 years. So it absolutely, you will lose time. I mean, like I said, when you lose time, when you're just really connected with your body and the movements and your breath, especially your breath, you really kind of flow through things. And it is a different state of being. But I will say, like the yoga stuff, yes, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing. But to then take that, and then have it be translated into, like in a sexual experience or even just with somebody else that you have a physical connection to is amazing. I mean, it's like, whoa. So you've given me some food for thought there. I got to think. I never kind of like put those two together. I'm like, how do these relate? I'm going to think about that. But
so think about it. So when you're doing yoga, you're just doing breathing techniques to get you, and stretching your body and poses, right?
Mm-hmm. But you're also breathing. But that's the kind of the thing that your breath really sort of centers you and makes you in the moment, and and you're not, it does you're not thinking about anything else. You're really only focused on kind of on in that moment, which is nice for most of us, right? Because we're always thinking about what I gotta do and your to-do list, and you're just hyper, you're not really, you're there but you're not there, and yoga will bring you right there to the moment. The same thing, and like I said, so it's interesting you said that because it's the same thing with the with the dominant submissive state is that I am, what I've said is there's it shuts off all the noise. There's just nothing, nothing else is coming in. I'm feeling the sensations. There's no real kind of logic thought process like, well, I got to do this, and when I leave, I got to do that. And let's face it, when I've had vanilla sex, sometimes I'm thinking about my to-do list. Like, okay, let me have this orgasm so we can be done, and then I can just, get up with what I got to do. And I got to call her, and I didn't text that person back. All that shit. There's none of that when I'm in yoga, and there's none of that when I'm in that submissive state. Zero. So. Right,
because you're forced to be in that moment, and remember, it's sexualized, right? A little, so somewhat.
Oh yeah,
sexualized, right? And so your whole mindset is focused on that. So you're not thinking about bills and whatnot because you're thinking about feeling all the sensations that your body is feeling. Like you can't think about work when you're feeling relaxed but convulsing, and and you can't fucking think straight. Like,
I've had 10 orgasms. Jesus, what can I think about?
Exactly. See, that's where we are with it. Where we are with it.
Yeah. Literally, sometimes I get to, sometimes they're forced. It's just, it's like,
Wow.
Yeah.
You saw that. You're a little insatiable too, so that's funny. But so think about that. Think about the submissive poses like a little like yoga, because you're definitely gonna breathe. You're definitely gonna breathe when you're doing the poses, and it's going to put you in a whole different mindset.
I am going to try.
Yay!
I like that. No, I never. It's funny. Nobody's ever said that to me. I've never thought of the submissive poses the same way I think of my yoga poses, but it makes sense. So I'm going to try that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're now like an hour and 35 minutes.
Okay.
I thought.
Well,
I thought we were gonna. When you said, "Well, we got to," because it's later for you, right? You're 3 hours ahead of me, so we were gonna try to do this quickly so that.
Right. And that didn't happen. I know I was lying to myself when I said it to you. I was like, yeah, all right, when we get on there, it's gonna be at least I figured it's gonna be at least an hour and a half. I was just long. I was like, we're not gonna drag it into 2 hours, but at least it's gonna be an hour and a half. That's a good conversation between us.
I know. Yeah, I know. That's how we are. That's how we roll. We have a lot to say.
Yes. That's because you don't talk to me all the time, Steve. You sparingly talk to me. So when we talk, we gotta have these long-winded conversations.
Do you know what it is? That's you answered the question. When you text me on a Tuesday and then I don't get ready, I'm that's why we have so much to talk about.
Yes. Absolutely.
And you know what? You know what it is? I'm old school. I fucking like to have conversations. I like to relate to somebody. I'm not into this.
Right.
I don't want to. I'm not going to like all of this that we just talked about here. You would never catch me texting this kind of stuff. I mean, come on.
Right. It's too much. Yeah, it's too much. And you don't. Right. It's too much. It's too much.
I don't get the interaction from you and the other, and that feedback and all this. No, I mean, I can't relate that way. So this.
And you know what? And I love the fact that as I'm more mature, I'm like one of them plants that I don't need water all the time.
Yeah.
You don't have to water. You don't have to overwater me at all.
You're a succulent.
Yes. So when I get the water, I'm gonna suck it up. But yeah, I'm good with I'm not like, hey man, she don't like me. She's not thinking. I don't take it personal.
You're just giving me.
But I like messing with you about it though.
No, I know.
I got a bunch of jobs about it though.
That's all right. Go ahead, do it. I can take it. I can take
it. And just for the record, because your audience doesn't know that you've been bad and you set me out here to be mean to young ladies.
What?
Yes, it's your fault.
I don't. Whoa.
I've had to take out certain energies on some unsuspecting young ladies. I just want the audience to know that.
There we go. Well.
Yes.
In my defense, I will say that
you have a defense.
It's not okay. I'm sorry. It's not a defense. It's actually that is goodwill work bestowed upon the female population. Is how I consider that. Because, yes. This is spreading the good word.
Yes, we are trying to spread the good word. Yes, we are. You gotta love it out here, right? You gotta love it, man. It's such a wonderful game, and dating is very different now. And I have a whole another conversation for you for a whole another podcast that we're going to get into. I would like to get into a conversation about people not liking roles anymore. Well, the younger generation,
the gender roles.
They don't like having roles. They think everything is negotiable and all that. So, but I would like to save that for another one.
A, let's save that, and B, I got a shit ton to say about that.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. So, all right. Well, as usual, wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And I know everybody's been listening, but if this is their first podcast, tell everybody where they can find you.
They can find me on Facebook at Sir Inq. That's INQ. And they can find me on Instagram as Sir Inq. That's with INQ. And they can always contact me at Sir Inq at sirinq.com.
Okay.
And I'm also on Twitter, Sir Inq 09 on Twitter, but I need to do a better job, y'all. So I need some engagement.
Okay. But you just reminded me of something really quick before we end the call.
Okay.
On your Facebook page, tell me about that. One of those posts, you know which one I'm talking about?
Which one are you talking about?
Oh, come on.
I wrote a post for a good friend of mine who is a wonderful woman, but she is such an awful tease. She is such an awful tease.
What was that me?
Yes, that's you. You know it's you. Everything you read was like, that's me. Yes, you. You're horrible. You're a horrible tease. You don't contact somebody for 5 days and you send a naughty librarian picture like looking over your glasses like, what are you doing? This is the naughty librarian. I'm like, oh, come on, man. How you gonna do me like that? And then you disappear. You know, the artist, like I've told you before, the artist dungeon, you got that. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
I see it. It runs the force runs deep within you. I see.
It's the chess game.
It really is. I realize that I'm in the game with you.
It's the chess game. It's in my blood. What can I say?
Yes. And so I'm like, oh, okay, now I have to get you back.
But I must say, thank you. That was like, nobody's ever like written a little like ditty about me. I don't know what you got, poem or ditty. Like it was just a little thought, quick little quip. You know,
what did you think?
What
did you think? Did I get you?
You nailed it.
I nailed it.
You nailed it.
Good. And see, the more you talk, the more I know you.
I know. Yeah, you nailed it. You were like, boom, and I'm like, oh. And I didn't say, I just got on there. I'm like, well, gee, that sounds familiar or something. Oh, that sounds like somebody I know or whatever. I didn't make a big deal out of it, but I was like, that's because you sent me a text. You like check Facebook, and I was like, oh
yeah, check Facebook. He's like, oh, he's like, who is he talking? Oh, he's talking about me.
I'm like, whoa, hey, that is me to a T. Yes, you did.
Yes,
your skills, your perceptive skills are dead on.
But there's more. There's more.
Woo! Okay. Mm-hmm. I love more.
All right, there's more. Just stay tuned. I have more for you. I haven't. It's how your writing stuff is there, but I don't have all the pieces yet.
Yeah.
But there's a deeper level that I'm getting to with you. That you're slowly but surely letting things out.
Yeah.
I love the way you do it. You're just such you're just so wonderful that way. But you're rolling things out.
Yeah.
And I hear you say things, and one of the things that they're not privy to, well, we had a great conversation about me that we didn't do a podcast on. Remember that? What was that, 2 weeks ago?
Was it?
Remember?
Yeah.
Remember I said, all right, we're going to do a podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Here's a question for you. He's like, oh, come on, I got to call you. You can't put that on me. And we had that great conversation.
I know. That was a great conversation. And at the end of it, I was like, damn, I wish we would have been recording this. But
yes,
that's okay because, we don't have to record. It's just that's a conversation between two people, and
it is.
But it was really good. Yeah, it was.
It was really good. Mm-hmm. And what I realized is, because I think a lot of times we talk on these podcasts, and it's more about like we had the young lady's question, and then we talk about your experiences. I don't think we don't really talk about my experiences as much, and we do talk about some stuff. But that night was I had to lead off with what I was going through.
Yeah,
and really helped me in a lot of areas.
Can I say that I try? Let me point something out.
Okay.
I think gnash your teeth on this for a little bit.
Okay.
So I try, and I've not just with you, but someone that's dominant. Like I will try to ask them, ask a question, and get a response. And what I find with you dominant types is that there's a lot that's hidden, that it's like you guys are like icebergs, like it's 10% on the top and 90% that's way down on the bottom. And I try not to push. I don't push it, like I'll ask a question, and if it doesn't, it just doesn't get answered. But I know there is an answer. But I don't sit there and, dig. But you have to know that for me, that's really out of character, because I am like, in a normal conversation, when I want to know something, I learned real young, and, and that's where I think I got my good, like, business skills from, was, everything's open-ended questions. I'm controlling the conversation. I know how to use uncomfortable pauses to make somebody talk first. I know how to, like, I'll sit there and just be quiet, because I know that whoever fills in the space first is uncomfortable. I'm not uncomfortable with it, but people are uncomfortable with silence. And so, like, I have all these, like, conversational strategies, and just, boom, 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 boom. And, even if you come at me with something real direct, I can spin it off and turn it around on you. Like, this is, like, ingrained in me. And I have to, and I shut that off, because the truth of it is when I do shut that off, let me tell you this, when I do shut that off, it's because I really genuinely care and want to know about what that 90% is all about.
Right.
And it's less about me controlling the outcome. I don't care about controlling the outcome. I just want to know what the truth of it is.
Right.
Right. That's all I'm after. And if somebody doesn't want to, they're like, if I ask it a certain way and they're like, it doesn't come back to me the way I want it, I'll leave it at that.
Right.
I'm like, that's okay. Like, I think over time that will come out, and that will evolve, and, I'll get to see more of that 90%, but there is 90% that's submerged.
Patience, right? And we learn that as we mature. It's just patience.
Yeah.
And everything is going to roll out. And what I've learned, dealing with the public the way I do, is if you talk about yourself, it allows your vulnerability allows others to be vulnerable too.
Yeah.
And when they hear that you speak from a place of authenticness, they don't mind being a little more authentic with you.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of time, and like you said, like, you're not going to get right down to it. This is not a cross-examination. So you're not going to always get right down to it. So it takes time. And if you care about somebody, like you said, you care to listen to them, you care to hear them, you care to hear how they roll out, who they are. Because, you're not going to throw them away, right? You're like, I really like this person's person. Is somebody worth keeping around. They're valuable to me.
If I didn't, I'd be pushing, just because it's a game to me, and I want the answer, and that's the end goal. Like,
and that's the end goal, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not the end goal, and that's the difference. But if if it's just like, I just want to know what I want to know, and that satisfies my curiosity, then that's then I will dig that out. I can excavate that out of somebody. But that's not a good thing. You know what I mean? And so when I'm really laid back and I'm more like, I can live without that answer, because I think that, over time, I'm more interested in when that person wants to show me that than I am in trying to pry it out of them. That's a good sign.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And I'm also being respectful too,
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I'm just gathering up more notes on you as we go. Just like, they don't. We have a joke, y'all, and we have a game. CG has started a game. The Curious Girl started a game, and I am determined to get her back. What? Revenge at all costs.
Uh-oh. Oh shit! What?
Mm-hmm. Stay focused. I'm gonna make sure it's hard for you to focus.
It is already. I'm like,
I'm gonna make sure it's some random. You gonna get some randoms like, oh Lord, this guy.
Okay.
I'm attacking you on Tumblr and everything. I started on Tumblr, saw that.
All right. I'm ready for it. Bring it on.
Yeah, let's make our stalkers mad.
Ooh. Oh my word.
You like that, don't you? Let's make our stalkers mad.
Well, I know. I don't want to be petty, but yeah. I mean, it just anybody, if I don't like to be fucked with. So anybody that's, just gone out of their way to fuck with me. And I just find it so amusing. I find it so amusing that it's the perfect definition of karma that you and I had no clue who the other was. None.
No.
Until this person brought you onto my radar and vice versa. And,
yes.
And it was like, well, wait a minute. No, I kind of like this guy. It's like, well, what's going on here? Well,
wasn't that crazy?
Who is this guy that's so great that this person's obsessed with him?
But you was like, yo, he's like, yo, get your sub. I'm like, who? I'm like, that ain't my sub.
I know.
Then we started, and then we got cool, and it was, it's kind of crazy. Like, well, that was her purpose.
I know. Now that's, I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen a more clear-cut example of karma in action, and also what they say, like what you focus on, will manifest itself. It works in both ways. Right. So if it's like something negative, you'll create that too, just as much as if it's positive, you can create that. Well, I'm sure in this person's mind, this scenario right now is the most negative that they can possibly imagine. Yeah,
it is definitely the most negative. It's the most negative situation she could have hoped for.
And he poof, she manifested it.
It's the weirdest shit. Like I can't.
It is the weirdest shit.
Like, you can't make this shit up.
No, you can't make this shit up. No. No, I know.
My goodness.
I don't know if everybody knows this, but it bears worth repeating, like in a real quick little sentence here. Just that.
Oh yeah.
That Sir Inq and I did not know each other, and we were. You had, what would you say? Would you say a stalker?
Yes.
Okay. You had a stalker, and that person somehow thought that you and I, became a stalker of me because they thought that you and I were doing something behind her back. And again, we didn't even know each other.
Right.
But now we do.
Now we do. He was like, get your girl. I'm like, who? Like, that ain't my girl. Oh my God.
I don't even know who that is. I know.
But I was cool with her. No, I was cool with her. She's an admirer of my page. And we've had some conversation. I genuinely thought she was a nice person until all the stuff started coming out. And then finding out that everything that she was putting up that was supposed to be her wasn't even her. It was, I was like, oh, this got creepy and got real weird. Yeah. So I'm good. I was just instantly done. Like, all right, It just seems like too much effort.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was way too much effort for something that it shouldn't be that deep. This is social media. Like, I've never met this person in my life. Like, imagine if I gave her some dick. Oh my God.
Well, I don't know that would happen if you were face to face.
No.
Legit.
No, it wouldn't happen.
And
we know that.
And again, that's I'm certainly not trying to be mean. It's just that we all have our we all have our what we're naturally attracted to and what we gravitate towards. And if somebody misrepresents themselves, it actually, well, it's the opposite, right? It's the same thing. This is why, it's funny because my pet peeve is like lying and dishonesty. When I went with guys and in relationships and when I meet them, it's like it's the same thing as you may as well have just sent me a picture that wasn't you, because what you have told me is not you. It doesn't matter whether it's a physical appearance or, a factual appearance.
Right.
It's the same motherfucking thing. And I mean, this gets me, this shit gets stuck in my craw. Like, I cannot, they'll never, it'll always be an ongoing problem. And I'll never be able to really trust someone.
Right.
It just, you can't, if you're sending me, yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, think of it this way, because I don't know that people think of it in this context. I think this is a really good point, actually. Really good point. When you are dishonest with somebody in the beginning, when you're getting to know them and you're meeting them, it's no different than sending a picture that's not you.
Right. Absolutely.
It's no different. It really, it's the same thing. Contextually, that's not you. Or appearance-wise, that's not you. It's the same thing. You could have that physical outward appearance that you've been representing, but if you are, if you say you're one way and you're actually, married with 10 kids. I'm a single, I'm a single woman and I blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Or no, I'm actually married and I've got like 10 kids,
Right. Ridiculous. Right.
It's different. I mean, you've said like, I live my life this way, and that's not the case. And, and so it really is the same. You kind of had a little ding ding moment there. It's the same. It's no different than sending just picking some picture off the internet and saying, that's me. And it's not, and it's somebody else random person. I don't know. I just ripped their photo down.
That's kind of scary, man.
It's the same thing. Yeah. The same thing. Yeah. I know. Interesting. Anyway. Okay. Let's wrap this up because you and I will go forever. You and I.
Yes, we will.
We have things to talk about. We have things to ponder. But
yes.
But the next podcast we're gonna do is for sure. I want to get back into maybe a little bit more, if you wouldn't mind, maybe a little bit more of the conversation that we had privately.
Yes, we can do that. I will have a lot more to add to that at this point.
Yeah, because I
have some other things to add to that.
Yeah. Do you notice that I am always trying to pull stuff out of you?
You do, yes. You do it. I think you're more comfortable with asking me about stuff now. Yeah.
And I try not
which is great.
I try not to, like, if I had like I said, I want to get into the submerged zone, but the lower part, the lower hemisphere of the iceberg. And what's on top? I got that.
Yeah, let's go.
I want to know what's down below and all, and get into all that. And I I'll sometimes put you on this, like I'll throw a little question out there, even when we're, on a podcast, because you and I we don't have a script. We just go for it.
Right.
And you don't, a lot of times you won't, like, I'm like, oh, he didn't really answer that. Or he moved, or he rolled off of it. And I don't go, oh, wait a minute, I don't try to circle back on it, but I really do. I want to have a podcast where it's kind of like you're in the hot seat a little bit. Let me have a go at you. Let me have a go.
How do we go from ask you a couple more questions to the hot seat?
Well, the hot seat's good.
This is audience. This is what I'm talking about. You see how this slippery slope with this one here. But if you want me on your hot seat, I'll be on your hot seat. Let's go.
Okay. It's, you know what? It's good because confession is good for the soul.
I'm ready.
All right. Perfect. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks everybody for listening, and stay tuned for coming podcasts with this time it'll be True Confessions from Sir Inq. All right.
Ooh, we're gonna do now it's True Confessions.
Yeah.
Oh goodness gracious.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like you're gonna spill it. You're gonna spill it.
You know what? We're gonna just I can't even say let's do true confession with you because you all game for that. All right, I gotta get you back.
It's good. No, I do it all the time.
I know you do. That's why I said it's no fun saying let's do true confessions with you. Okay.
Thanks so much for listening. And if you like what you hear, refer me to a friend. And make sure you're following me on social media. Also, go to the website, thecuriousgirldiaries.com, and join my subscribers-only list for access to exclusive content. And as usual, questions or comments, you can always email me at curiousgirl@thecuriousgirldiaries.com.